Okay, so speaking of command sergeant majors, I spoke to, I'm sorry, when I served, another reason that I like to, or I decided to do this is because one command sergeant major, when I was at about 4 years in, taught us what it meant to be part of the solution, not the problem. And that was probably the first thing that came to mind when I decided to run for this seat here. See something, say something. You've all heard that, right? So we were at assembly, and there was a lot of junior soldiers there. I was only at about 4 years in at that time, so I lasted longer than anybody expected that I would. So I was proud of myself, of course. But he said to us, he said, you all, a lot of you, I've been to a lot of your units, you all complain a lot, and a lot of you have good ideas, but y'all probably heard this already, and folks not volunteer here, but you have, how many of you are willing to work to try to implement some of those ideas that you have in mind? And a lot of us didn't want to raise our hands, because once you get to about that point, you feel like sometimes we've done enough, and that's it. And he said, well, that's a shame, because a lot of you would be great at what you were doing, based on the ideas that you have, if you would just step up and do the work. And that's the first time I heard that. And because I like to be challenged, I don't know why I decided to run to the wall on that sometimes, but I went back to my unit and asked my sergeant if I could work to go to the promotion board, become sergeant, so forth, so long. So I'm sure I went for 4 years, was expecting to stay just that long, as that to 21. That's what kept me in the whole time. And when this after the presidential election, I came to mind again. I had been complaining about Congress for the last probably 15 years or so, and I thought this was the time to now be part of the solution, so that's why I decided to run for District 15 here. So my website is peopleforcongress.com, and I thank you all for listening. I thank you, Valerie. I thank my colleagues up here as well. I definitely appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak. I want to, my name is my name for a reason. I didn't understand it back when I was getting made fun of before, but now I think I get it. So that's who I work for. That's who I will always work for. Everybody, not corporations, not super PACs, not lobbyists, not anybody that's not even other Democrats, so a few all in here. So thank you very much.
I want to thank everybody for having us here. It's a wonderful opportunity that I know that all of us have enjoyed in the time that we've been campaigning to get out and actually meet people, not only let you know what we're about, but to actually listen to you. This week was very difficult. We witnessed something that, quite frankly, I did not think was going to go. I thought as soon as he said yes, but, and then they were going to blame it on something else. All because somebody wants a job. Look, it's what we're witnessing is not just disenfranchisement of people. It's not just disenfranchisement based on somebody's skin color. It's about the disenfranchisement of our ideas, of our priorities, of our values. They don't care how it is we feel, what we wish to advocate for, all to keep us under just enough duress and just exhaust us just enough to where we just let all this misery just wash right over us. We can't. I know everybody at one time or another over the last several years felt helpless because you just feel that the monster is just too big. Let me remind you, there is a reason why there are so many campaigns that are out there that are running grassroots. One, because you know exactly where they're coming from. You don't have some hidden hand and everything going up their back like a puppet and everything, telling them what to say. You actually have a chance to look at people and hear them and hear their values, their core beliefs. I'm also reminded of the earlier conversation about the no harm perceived. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I grew up loving Star Wars. Has anybody seen that show Andor? If you have, I suggest you watch it. It is a textbook study, not only on what you have as far as pulling off espionage operations, it is accurate. But you also have the sentiments of people when you have an oppressive government. There is a scene where one of the main characters addresses the Senate, and they warn about the damage that is being done. And she says something that strikes to the heart of everybody. The monster that calls for this eventually comes for us all. So just because you may not have lost your rights, just because you have a passport that's still good for a few years and you can weather this, whether or not there's anything else, so it's like, well, they didn't crack my town right down in half. The harm is there. Anybody, there's not a person in here that won't pull a frog out of the water that's getting increased in temperature a degree every hour. Because we know the harm that is intended. We know the harm that is inevitable when you do that. So I would recommend you, all of you, please, for your own family, or those that you love, let them know that you have the power. Just because I don't have the money of Gus Bellerockis does not mean I'm not going to be able to mount a sufficient campaign. I will out-hustle him. I do more before 9 a.m. than Gus forgets about.
Yeah.
Myself and everybody that's up here and everything, we're all, I believe, in the same kind of mentality about this. Do not give up on the democracy. Do not give up on the process, and do not give up on yourself. Thank you.
Nice job. I'm going to start sort of at the beginning like I did before, but just reiterate some important things. My name is Kimberly Overman. That's OVERMAN.com is how you find me. And on the back table is a palm card that has a QR card that can take you there. I want to say thank you to all of you who have committed to actually protecting our democracy. You are our warriors. Candidates can't win without you. But we can talk a good game. But when I've spent a lifetime actually volunteering in communities, I finally decided that volunteering wasn't going to get it done. When I spent many years protesting in places, which is very, very valuable because it lets everyone know that you are not alone, and that's important. But I realized it wasn't enough. What I realized when I spent a lifetime paying attention to how policy was made, the sausage is made is what they call it, but also worked within the system to be able to figure out a way to actually put good policy in place. I realized how critically important it is to recognize the value of governing. And we don't have any of that happening. Not only in Washington, but also in Florida. They're not getting anything done. And I've spent a lifetime finding opportunities to get results. It's critically important that we recognize that. So with that, I'm going to ask for your help. I haven't gotten all my petitions, so I need that. Go on my website, you'll find a link. Fill it out, mail it to me by Tuesday, okay? So, or drop it off. My campaign office is in the middle of Hillsborough County, right by Hillsborough High School. So if anybody knows where that is, I'm a block south of Hillsborough High School, across from the Seminole Heights Library. It's a big white building. I live upstairs, and my office is downstairs. So you're welcome to put it in a mail slot, or just mail it to the P.O. box that's in Temple Terrace. But please get those back into me, because I appreciate it. I'm having to spend the $10,000 or whatever it is. But more importantly, I need the volunteers to help us get this out here. As you know, campaigns cost a lot of money. And the reason it costs a lot of money is because we have an amazing infrastructure cost to be able to reach all of our voters. So having all of you as volunteers is very, very helpful. And, you know, these districts are gigantic now. I mean gigantic. District 15 is huge. District 12 is huge. But it's smaller than it used to be. So, and it now incorporates Hillsborough County, that it didn't do much before. So I'm paying close attention. Where my voters are, where my workers are, where my volunteers are. You know why? Because I believe in public service. I did it in my business, in terms of helping families make their budgets work. I did it in my life, in terms of being a volunteer for candidates when they were running, but also agencies, the Housing Finance Authority, communities in the schools, and I have raised my son in a way that he now volunteers for organizations that give back to our community. Setting that precedence is critically important, and I would love to have the opportunity to serve you, to serve this state of Florida, and to make sure that in Washington, we hold people accountable for the jobs that they sign up for, and have every intention of getting a bunch of them fired. But we can't let what just happened with redistricting and interfere with our ability to allow our vote